Welcome to the INKPULP Podcast. This time with the Fratelli Bros.
Yo!
No Eric today. Daddy's not here.
So no music intro this time?
I'm gonna get there.
Oh, okay, so you want to do it? All right, gotcha.
Yeah, I just wanted to get in on it. So
Yeah.
now that we're in the Fratelli Bros first edition of the podcast, let's run that intro. This is the INKPULP Podcast. And now I can see what Eric sees when he runs it. So this is good for
Is that
us.
different?
Well, I can see, like, remember when we changed and he was watching us? I could see you the whole time that was playing. So I see what's going on with him now.
Okay. You see what makes him feel that, powerful.
Yeah, dude,
it's
you
scary.
sound. Yeah. The daddy's not here. You sound good.
Yeah,
There's a new edition of the podcast.
Yeah, there's been a little add-on,
An upgrade.
Yeah, an upgrade. Now all I miss is the headphones, and I really, gonna be looking like a serious podcaster. So
I don't have the headphones, so you're gonna be way ahead of me if you get those headphones.
headphones, sunglasses, and that's it. Ready to rock.
that's where it's at.
So yeah, there was a generous gift from our beloved Eric, who after the last episode started, giving me shit about the fact that my sound was echoey. So
yeah, I was guilty. I brought it up during the podcast. I was guilty of it, but I wanted you to be like, I wanted you to represent Matteo fully. And while Eric may hate Mr. Freeze, I love Mr. Freeze. and I want.
And by the way, Eric is missing because he's a week-old guy, so
Yeah,
he's
he's very
joining
weak
us today, and it's
yeah,
it is what it is. So we can talk. We decided that for the first 30 minutes, we're gonna talk shit about Eric.
Yeah. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Eric.
Yeah, absolutely. He's gonna die soon. So
he's
now on, you probably won't see him anymore.
No, I think we're gonna do one podcast from the hospital in
from
the
his deathbed.
Yeah, from the deathbed. Exactly.
with the priest. Just he's gonna so to increase the number of views, Eric is gonna die in the next episode. We're gonna film it as it happens. So
most viral podcast ever.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're in touch with his wife, and he's gonna tell us when it's time. And when the priest goes, it's we'll start a new episode. So hopefully he will die in the first within the first 45 minutes, because we wanted to see him die live.
Yeah, we got to draw it out. we want to milk.
Yeah, we got to get organized. Otherwise, it's gonna be as long as it takes him to die. So
well, and if he doesn't die fast, you and I will just have to like kill him on camera. Like,
we actually we'll probably get organized. So with a wireless thing, basically it's poison that's connected to a button, and we'll control it from here. So if we're seeing that we're going close to an hour, at a certain point we'll be the ones that.
Right. Well, I also want to pitch you an idea. So while we're filming him dying, I want to have like one of those cartoon robotic punching gloves. Remember from the cartoons? Next off camera. So just throughout the podcast, I can hit the button and it'll punch him.
And then the whole bed, it's like a jumping, thing. Like the plane pilots. The ejecting thing.
Yeah.
So when he dies, he's getting shoot into the air. and the whole thing is going to be connected to another webcam, so we'll see the flag that he makes.
Dude, we're gonna get one of those personal GoPros.
Yeah, a GoPro here, so you can see where his body goes. And when he falls, since his body is going to disintegrate. You'll see, since the head is going to be separated by the rest of the body, you'll see parts of the body on the floor.
Right, right.
I can go on all day, man.
I mean, I'm having fun. Eric is gonna hear this and hate every
He's
second.
gonna hate us.
He's gonna hate this so
So
much.
he's gonna talk for the first 20 minutes of the next episode. He's gonna talk about how dumb we are.
Yeah, totally. The knucklehead.
I like this dynamic. I think it's a cool one.
Dude, I
So,
like this sweatshirt. What's Stan? Let me see the graphic on that one. I remember this one. Yeah.
yeah. I think you have it as one of the Fratelli Bros outfits, right?
I don't have that one.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Where did you get that one?
I got it. I think a Carhartt in Seattle when we bought the first combined things.
That's a Carhartt?
I think it was in that shop. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that I bought it in Seattle. One of the
At
first.
the Urban Outfitters where we got the jackets.
Maybe, yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah,
I remember that now.
Yeah, but I don't know why I was convinced that you had it as well.
I think what happened was, if my memory serves me, we realized we had the same jackets, and you bought that sweatshirt too. And we talked about going and getting me that sweatshirt too, but this was new to us. We were like, wait, we got to slow down.
We already understood what was going on. It was going to happen.
Right. Everyone's like, what the fuck? These two lost their goddamn minds. Next thing you know, they're going to get tattoos together.
Well, the only thing that I kind of don't like, because I love the hoodies, so this one doesn't have, the thing.
Yeah,
That's
most of my
only reason why I don't always wear it, because I don't know, I love, especially now that I'm bald, like I love.
Yeah. The most of my sweatshirts are hoodies, but recently I've got a few crew necks. I'm enjoying those too. But yeah, there's the hoodies. Hoodies the shit.
But anyways, the funny thing about talking shit about Eric is that he just bought me this mic.
Right, of course.
And it's not even a cheap one. I mean, he bought the mic with this whole arm, that keeps him,
Yeah, that arm alone was a couple $100 at least, I'm thinking.
So thanks, Eric. This is my way to thank you, to describe how you're gonna die in front of the camera.
Look, we got to give it up to Eric. I mean, my podcast equipment is compliments of Eric. Your podcast equipment is compliments of Eric. Eric takes good care of us.
It's his way to pay us, to do such a wonderful job.
Right. To carry him on our backs.
Yeah.
But also it's part of our inheritance, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What I think that on the contract, once he dies, you're gonna get his microphone, and I'm gonna get his camera.
Yeah, because I've got the camera. Yeah, that'll be great. You can, we'll look a lot better, and we'll have a lot of stuff to talk about.
And I mean, it's a way to remember him,
right?
To use his stuff,
to honor him.
Yeah. So.
All right. We've been talking some shit.
Oh, by the way, it's today. It was in general a day of improvement, because I sent you a picture early, so you already know what I'm talking about. But I just got a new couch for the studio, so the studio is basically finally completed, because I had a small space that still needed to be filled up.
Yeah.
I have I have another stair. You can't see it, but it's on my left side. And there's a stair that leads to a small living room that at the moment was just basically empty. I was just putting stuff in there, using it as a how you call storage room, basically.
On the stairs?
Yeah, there's a stair that I made because there was a small other area. How do you call it? Over elevated. How do you say it?
Yeah, elevated. Yeah,
there's a small elevated area,
like a loft. It's like a loft.
A small loft. So, and it was empty. I was just using it as storage. But the project was to make it become a small, living room. And now with the couch, it's all. The project is completed. I just gotta decorate with, frames and shit, but it's almost done.
Yeah. What
And that's where we're gonna film the episode of the
the
podcast.
Parma episode of the
Yeah,
podcast?
yeah,
I
the
am
Parma.
okay. I have the picture. Should I pull it up?
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay. I'll pull up the pictures here. Um let me see if I can figure out how to do this. There's definitely a way to do it.
Yeah, maybe like
No,
I remember I'll keep talking as you try doing it. So I remember that in a couple of episodes on YouTube when you went and visiting Sean Murphy, I think,
yeah. Yeah.
uh, and Tommy Lee Edwards,
Mhm.
you had some footage of their studio in general. So the
Yeah, so when I was filming some Ink Pulp Instruction episodes, I had Alan and all the really good equipment, and we decided to take advantage of that and shoot some podcasts while we were there. So the one with Sean was real. I mean, it looks great. And
yeah.
then with when we were with Tommy, yeah, I think we did do one with Tommy too. Yeah,
I
dude.
remember you being with Tommy. I don't remember if you filmed the rest of the studio, but and I don't know what kind of equipment you'll have when we will be in Parma. But in case you have something, we can take a.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring my good mics. I'm gonna have my
Mhm.
good soundboard and my good Mevos, my portable cameras. So
Okay.
I'll have those.
Okay.
Um, I
Well,
don't know how to fucking um. Oh wait, here it is. Present. I think I found it. Slides.
but yeah. So if we can, we'll have some shoots of the studio. If not, whatever. You'll never see my studio. I think you'll survive by you know.
Wait, it's not. Yeah, it's not letting me choose those photos for some reason. Oh well, I'll figure it out another time. We'll have
All
to
right.
the
Well,
people will just
anyway,
have to wait and see. They'll just have to wait
yeah,
and see. But
yeah.
yeah, it's a great area for us to definitely shoot and film a podcast. And I'm thinking I'm gonna have to record some from my villa in Como because I got a really an entire house for me, Jim, Dave Johnson, and Aaliyah.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man. Yeah,
Yeah, I think we should film some stuff there. That'll be fun.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Oh, speaking of traveling, I just came back from a show in Barcelona.
Yeah, I want to hear about this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it was I think, Comic Barcelona, it was called.
Okay.
Uh, 41st edition of the show.
Have you ever been
And
to this one before?
yeah, yeah, I was there in, I think, 2018, 2019, probably.
How do you get there? Do you drive? You take a train, fly?
I fly, yeah. It's a
How?
short flight. It's like an hour and 20 minutes or
Oh,
so.
okay, not bad.
Yeah.
Not
No, no,
bad.
not bad. If I wanted to drive there, it would be like probably around 15 hours.
That
Something.
sounds about right. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, now with a kid, it's impossible to plan something like
Oh,
that.
did Francesca and the
Yeah,
baby
yeah.
go?
I brought the family. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So I was invited, like in 2018, 2019 by Norma Editorial, which is the publisher that publishes Black Science in Spain,
Okay.
and they're the ones that invited me back then
Okay.
to promote Black Science.
It looked like this was like the Rick Remender show this year.
Yeah, yeah, that's why this year they tried to, since they publish a lot of Rick stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The plan was they contacted basically everyone that has done a image book with Rick,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the only two that bailed were Wes Craig, I
Mm-hmm.
think, and Sean Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
But all the rest, since and Rick, especially after the pandemic, is really
Antsy.
yeah. So, but since I said yes, Greg Tocchini said yes.
Bengal.
Andre Bengal said yes, and Andre Lima Rajujo said yes.
What book did he do with Rick?
A more recent one. It's called "Righteous Thirst for Vengeance,"
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know that book.
and so yeah, since four of his artists said yes, he had to say yeah. So
So
we might, yeah. I wasn't sure I was gonna see him because Rick, Rick. So
I was just gonna ask.
I don't. I self censored myself because I didn't want to talk shit about him since he's
No,
not here.
we don't
Like
need to talk.
if he was here, I would say I
Yeah,
would have said the
I
same
know
thing.
we all would. We're
But as
not
a
talking
joke,
shit.
so yeah.
No, but did he have fun? Did Rick have a good time?
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
you
And that's
probably haven't seen Rick in how long?
years now. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen Rick in. It's probably been 4 years now.
4 years. Yeah, probably the last time we saw each other was in maybe Seattle or in New York at
Yeah, it
dinner.
was probably last time I saw him.
Yeah.
Last time you saw him, yeah, it was probably. I think the last time I saw Rick was the Deadly Class premiere at New York Comic Con.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And we all went to dinner together, I
Man,
think.
that dinner was something else.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Rick,
was good.
thank you for that one. That was I don't remember the name of the place, but they were known for this chicken. I know Matteo doesn't eat chicken, but they stuffed under the skin foie gras and they roasted the chicken. So all that delicious foie gras flavor just went right into the bird. It was fucking delicious.
Yeah. So yeah, again, like at the end, Rick didn't bail, so we all went there. And sometimes it's I don't know how to say it because I love doing these things all together, like stuff together in general. And even for Black Science, when we finished in 2019, I told Rick my plan was to do something together, like
Right, I remember that.
a, a bus tour or something.
Right, I remember
Well,
this.
maybe the last issue
Right.
or the last TPB or something like that. And then, it never happened. And so finally we got to, hang out all together. And he was super happy and, refreshed by the whole
Good.
thing. So sometimes like, yeah, you see what happens?
What?
It's good to do this kind of stuff,
It's good to be
Just,
around other people.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, I get it with the pandemic. I get it because
Yeah.
couldn't risk his wife, as
Sure,
health
sure, I get
issues
that.
and stuff like that. So I get that.
But
But
Rick
in
also he
general,
stopped.
when it comes to Rick, you had to add an extra paranoia, like so. Yeah, whatever.
Rick
But
stopped going to
was really
shows
fun.
before the pandemic, though. Like that New York was, I don't know, was that right before the pandemic? Maybe it was. I don't
Mm,
even. I think it was. I no, I think it was like a year before the pandemic.
yeah,
He didn't want to do Comic Cons anymore, and he stopped going
yeah.
after that.
I mean, we can ask him. We can have him as a guest
Yeah,
in the podcast. Be cool.
that could be cool, or it could go the wrong way.
But for sure, I forgot how much he loves to talk
Yeah.
because the interviews were like, you know,
Were you like, oh,
question for
eh,
Rick,
eh,
and then 30 minutes goes by, and then the second question. So basically, if they had two questions out of an hour of interviews, it was basically just Rick, and then we just sit down and then leave, and that's it.
So was it like a Comic Con like we're used to seeing, where like you were sitting down doing commissions and tabling? It looked like it
No,
was more
no.
like interviews and panels and shit.
Yeah, they had an artist alley, but it was more for independent stuff. It was a small area.
Mm-hmm.
And no, in this case, I got invited by the publisher, so we had basically the full days scheduled. We had signing sessions in the morning, signing sessions in the evening, and then interviews, photo shoots, and stuff like that. So it
Uh,
was everything was very well organized. You
yeah, it
know,
looks like it.
pre-show.
So, with Francesca and the baby there, were you hanging out much? Like, did everyone still go out to dinner together, or did you kind of do your own thing?
Well, we ended up doing, each their own thing. But we saw each other. We had a chance to actually, spend time not related to comic books together on Sunday after the show ended. And after dinner, we saw each other in the hotel lobby. There's a bar.
Uh-huh.
We actually stayed there. Like we met, I don't know, like around 10 p.m. and basically closed the bar at like 3, something like that.
Oh
So
shit, I haven't done that
yeah.
in a long time.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That was fun. It was
So I
fun.
guess Francesca and the baby went to the room and you hung
Yeah,
out.
they were. Yeah, yeah. Because the baby sleeps at around 9:39, something like that.
Right, right.
So at 10, I just went downstairs. They were already sleeping. So, but in general, the schedule was manageable. So every time for lunch, I had time to go and find them and have some lunch together. The only problem was that in Spain, I don't know if you know this about Spain, but they do everything super late.
Yeah, oh yeah, I did know that.
Yeah, they
I
have
did know.
lunch at 2 p.m. and they have
Right.
dinner around 10 p.m., like
Yeah, I did know that.
9:30, 10, something like that.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like we had a signing. The evening signing were from 6:30 to 8 p.m.
Damn.
So
Mm.
like my kid usually eats at 7:30,
Right. Oh,
so
so
we
you
had
did
to
you dinner.
rearrange things here and there, but I would just go. They were already in a restaurant. He was already eating, and then Francesca and I would eat together. But other than that, it was pretty doable.
I gotcha, I gotcha. Oh,
Maybe sorry,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, I was gonna ask you a question about something else, but if you got more to say, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that in general, I had already met, the other guys, but I had the pleasure to meet Andre Lima Araujo.
Mhm. Where's he from?
He's from Portugal,
Okay, okay.
and he lives in Porto. And he
Okay.
was there with his wife as well. And yeah, it was nice to meet him. And I mean, I knew his stuff because I saw the book that he's done with Rick.
Mhm.
But I had the chance to to see more of his stuff in general,
To kick
and I
it.
get more familiar with his stuff. And he's amazing. I think is a former architect. He
Oh,
was
really?
backgrounds. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it. That will do it. I did want to ask you a few things. One of the things I want to ask you is, are like when I'm in Italy, is there any chance I could go somewhere to get some Raphaels?
I can order some for you.
Where do you order them from?
There's a website. I don't know where they're based at. Maybe Germany. I'm
Okay,
not
yeah,
sure. But that's where I ordered them. So
I need them. I need them.
if you just let me know the website for any European, it's called Mondo Artista,
Okay,
and yeah, they have it. You could try and see on the website if they ship
to the
overseas.
States. Okay.
Yeah. If not, I mean, for me, it's really easy. They ship really quick.
Yeah, I might take you up on that. What we're talking about, for those of you that don't know, is we ink with these brushes made by Raphael. They're 8404s. They got the orange handle. If you've seen us at conventions, you've seen us using them. Yes, sir. That's
Brush.
them. So those are the brushes we use, and there's a lot of debate in the States about what's going on because they're very hard to find. They're not totally absent. They show up every now and then they disappear quickly. And some people believe this is due to the ban on importing sable hair. But the research I've done, that was true when there was an initial issue with getting them here, but they quickly fixed that because they didn't qualify the Kolinsky as a sable. I mean, if you look at brushes, you'll see that Kolinsky and Sable are generally listed differently. And so then they were coming in fine. But from what I understand, and I might be wrong, and maybe you know, Matteo, that COVID messed up the shipping supplies and the whole process of like the brush place wasn't able to get what they needed to make the brushes, and then there was problems exporting from there because of all the shipping from COVID stuff. But it's been a while now, so I don't know if we're going to get back to them. Do you know anything about this?
No, no. To be honest, no. I all I know is that for a while, but this was before COVID. For a second, you got out of Raphael, so
Right.
were
And that,
impossible to find in the States. I remember people asking me specifically
yeah,
to, if I was able to buy them and bring them to the States. And then after a while, I remember you telling me that that problem was gone,
it
so you
was.
could find them again.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
now I'm hearing from you lately. I've been hearing from you that there's the same problem again. So
Yeah,
you,
like they're gone. I just can't find them now.
Mhm.
I mean, about a year ago when I was like down to my last one, I put the word out there. Actually, I did find a website that had a few, but they only had a few of them, and I ordered them, and they were super expensive. And
Yeah,
then Phil Hester just mailed me. Apparently, he has a stockpile, so he mailed me a handful of them,
yeah,
which
yeah.
was
What I
great.
do is every now and then I go to that website Mundo Artista and I just see um, how many they got. I just buy them.
And you
I
you
just buy
mainly use
all they have.
number ones
I
mainly.
mainly use number one. Yeah, I buy number 3 and 4 just for filling up big
I've seen you
spaces.
use those. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But
Because
it's weird because on one hand, I realize we all realize that in general the world is going to a specific direction, and I don't know if this is the reason why there's a scarcity of these brushes, but
you mean
they
because
have
of
to
animal
kill,
rights and stuff?
yeah, they had to kill the animal, and
Right,
and
right.
especially for me, I've been a vegetarian for like 26 years now, I think. But on the other hand, I gotta say there's nothing so far. I mean, you gave me some synthetic brushes. I haven't tried them yet, but
I'll tell you what. I've been using those synthetics. Let me show you. Hold on.
mhm,
This is all done with the synthetic.
mhm.
And like you can't like get up super close on it. Let me see if I can get up close and focus.
Yeah, yeah, it's on focus now. Yeah,
Yeah, so you can see like I'm able to get probably 90% of what I normally get out of it. And
yeah,
these brushes are like $2 a piece, made
yeah.
by Rosemary and Company.
Jesus, that's cheap.
So they're not as good as Raphael's, but they're close. They're very close.
Mhm.
Um, they don't the tip doesn't last as long, but for $2 a brush, who cares?
Yeah,
Um, so I'm doing all of my like sketches and commissions with the synthetics so I can get used to
yeah,
them, but I'm still not using them on my published work.
yeah. And I'm not just wondering because you tend to, use the ink like pure.
Yeah,
And I'm wondering when you put water in the ink, the
yeah,
way it releases it, because the Kolinsky, another
yeah.
great thing about the Kolinsky is
I
it releases
right. So
the
I've done some painting with these too, with like thin washes of color, not ink, but well, color
yeah.
ink. And I again, it's close to the Raphael. It's not the same.
Mhm.
I think the difference is we hold on. I keep coming. I'm not. My focus isn't set great. The difference is will feel the difference. Can the average person see the difference? I don't think so. But
Mhm.
I'm. I, there's nothing like the Raphael. Like it just
Yeah.
that feeling of it.
I'm
So
just wondering, like, if they're gonna be producing it forever, or if at a certain point they're gonna stop.
yeah,
And
I
if
don't.
we're gonna stop, like, we're kind of, I mean, now you showed me those, synthetic brushes, and we'll see. But I mean, I don't know. It looks like we're kind of fucked if there's no Raphael anymore. But
Well, yeah, we got to that's why I want to stockpile them. You said you have a lot of them stockpiled, right?
oh yeah. I had like, I don't know. I never count them, but at least like 50 or something.
How long you think that'll last you?
Well, I can do like, I would say 30 to 40 pages, maybe 60 pages with
The
one.
brush?
Yeah, with a brush. And I don't treat them well. Like I saw
Yeah.
you, like
Yeah.
you wash them accurately after every session
Yeah.
with the soap and with the blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I just, that's it. Like I just finished using them and that's it.
Dude, this
So
is how crazy I am. So most people like tell me, how do you know when your Raphael is dead? Like what
I
is
just feel it. I feel that the lines are not coming the way I want.
is
I
it that
just,
the tip is gone? The sharp tip is not
yeah,
as
the
sharp?
tip. Yeah, in general, I can see like after a while I'm working, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm struggling more to do
Right.
what I usually shouldn't be struggling for.
Yeah, I
So,
understand that feeling very much.
and I see in general there's a signal which is here on the bottom part
Yeah,
of the brush, I can start seeing, a
black.
bigger black spot,
Yeah.
you know, and that's what tells me. Like
Yeah, so
this one is pretty still, the black spot is like a subtle line. So this
yeah.
one's almost brand new.
Yeah. That's exactly it. For me, because I take such good care of them, I never lose the point. For me,
Mm,
what happens is the hairs start falling out of the
yeah,
brush. So it just gets like that meaty base just gets thinner and thinner, and then it just is like this limpy
yeah.
little brush. And what I like about the Raphaels is they've got that like bounce in them, the
It
muscle.
starts to look like Eric's dick, is
Yeah,
what you know.
limpy noodle. Yeah.
At first it starts, when you start, when you just bought it, it looks like a Fratelli's dick,
Yes, yes.
like
Oh, it's a
meaty and
beautiful thing, a
strong,
beautiful thing.
beautiful, and full of stuff inside.
Yeah, full of
And then by the end,
vigor.
it gets like this. There's not a lot of ink in it. You know, it's not a lot of stuff in it.
But
So
this is why Eric doesn't use brushes.
yeah.
Every subject we talk about is going to turn into bashing on Eric somehow. He's gonna hate us in Italy. He's definitely gonna hate us in Italy. What we have to do, Matteo, is the day we're recording the podcast, we have to
Oh no. Well,
we have to wear the same shit, but we have to have something on top of it. And we're gonna do the same thing we did last time. We're like, you take off yours like maybe 10 minutes in, and then we'll get into the
and
conversation.
you know what? You know what? Since we have matching jackets and matching, like shirt, we should have the matching jacket, and we do the half of the podcast. And the only thing is that we're recording, so he's gonna know. That's the problem.
But that'll be funny. We'll wear the matching jackets, and then he'll make fun of us for looking the same. And then halfway through, we'll just
Yeah. We'll open
people
up.
hate us.
I'll just tell you. Look, Sean, don't you feel it's hot in here? It's getting hot, right?
Yeah, I'm so hot. So
Let's take off our jackets, and then underneath we'll have something else, and then we'll have shirts, and then after a while, it's still
oh,
hot.
dude, this is
It's
awesome.
still hot. You
Yeah.
you take it off, and there's the t-shirt.
Yeah, we can wear the Sub Pop T-shirt we just
Yeah, the
got in
Sub Pop.
Seattle.
The Sub Pop t-shirt for sure.
And
Then
we have the
a
plaid.
shirt,
We have the plaid
uh,
shirt or the mechanic shirt.
the mechanic shirt. Yeah, we can do that.
And
I
then
was just wondering how it looks.
the green.
The t-shirt with the thing. Yeah, can look good. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then a jacket.
And then a jacket, the ones that we got in
New York.
In New York. Yeah. The how do you call
The super dry one?
Super dry. I was about to say super fresh.
Okay.
Super dry. Yeah.
That's
That's
perfect.
perfect. Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh, he's gonna hate it.
You got to remember to pack them, and and to bring them though.
Actually, you know what we should wear under the mechanic shirt? The Fratelli tank top.
Oh shit! Which one is that?
The Brooklyn one.
Oh, the Brooklyn one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then Jim can wear that one too under whatever jacket he has on.
We we can do 4 layers if we could, but it's May. We're gonna die.
Yeah, but it's all in the name of podcasting.
It's like shirt, then jersey, then no, well, t-shirt, jersey, shirt, and then jacket.
Okay.
We're
Do it.
gonna fucking die, man.
Oh my god, it'll be so good though, Matteo. It'll be the most classic episode of the INKPULP podcast ever.
Ready as fuck.
Eric's gonna be like, "What are you dum dums doing?"
Like this, like Eric when he's like.
All right, that'll be.
Anyways, back to the show. Like I was thinking the other day, because there's especially the first day you have a lot of interviews in the morning. So there's
or
no, sorry, you're right. I was going back to the Barcelona show.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, it just came to my head, this thing, and I wanted to share, and I forgot that we haven't been talking about it for a bit. So we started the show with interviews on Friday. So and this happened the last time I was there as well. So you have a press room basically, and you go there. All the journalists are there. So you have all the the interview schedule.
That sounds fancy.
Yeah. It's yeah. It looks good. There's photographers and everything. So and man, like they keep asking me for the same shit.
The same
Every
questions?
fucking time. Yeah.
What do they ask you?
Like the usual thing. How is it to work with Rick Remender? and
His
in
Holiness.
another interview on Sunday, they asked me, "What's the difference of working with Rick Remender and Mark Millar?" And then the other one was, and by the way, they asked me the same shit, like 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Sure.
And another one is like, okay, so for Black science, you have to invent new words every time because there's travel dimension, parallel dimensions travels. So how do? You come up with your ideas, with your own ideas, or you find, what you use as an inspiration? And what has happened in those moments? Like, does Rick gives you inputs, or you just do it yourself? And it's all like, I would say like 4 or 5 questions just repeated over and
Do you
over.
think
It's not just Barcelona. Like every time there's an interview, and I'm like, on one end, I'm like, why did, like, if you want to ask me this, if you're really interested in knowing this, just go online. There's at least like 3 or 4
totally
that say the same thing already. So just go there. You'll save 1 hour. I'll save 1 hour. It's all good, It's why?
Were you getting annoyed as they were asking the questions?
No, I just know, and that's it. Like I don't like being annoying at
Sure.
I
Well, there's a problem in journalism in general, but comic book journalism is a big problem that there's no real understanding of journalism or studying of journalism, and you like, do you think any of them actually read the books they were asking you about?
Maybe they read it, but in general, like I don't think those websites are if a lot of people would consult those websites, then you'll probably encourage to have a different level of quality. I don't know. Like I don't want to talk shit about people
No, no,
doing
no.
the
Yeah,
talking.
yeah. I get you. I get you.
But
Yeah, but
if you
yeah,
are I don't know, the New
just
York Times,
keep more interesting.
if you work at the New York Times, the New York Times has a specific audience. So it's not that Sean just presents himself at the New York Times and like, hey, I'm Sean, I like writing. And
Right,
you're Sean, come in.
right.
You have to be, specifically very well prepared.
Totally, totally. Yes,
So
yes.
if you
Very
just
true.
have a, website that, reviews comic books, it talks about comic books in general, and, you know, and from what I know, which is not a lot, like, I don't know, that people are not gonna, it's not gonna be a really popular, you know,
Sure,
websites and stuff like that.
sure.
Maybe you don't feel the need of, raising the quality so much. I don't
Right.
know. I don't know. It's up for debate. I'm just suggesting,
Sure,
subjects.
sure, sure, sure. I get it.
You
Hey,
know,
look, I gotta pause here for a second. We have a very
I saw
special,
you with a smirk on your face. So I was
yeah,
like, oh, what's going on?
we have a very special guest ready to
Oh my
join us
god.
today. Um, and I'm here we go. Mr. Tommy Lee Edwards joins in the
Oh,
podcast.
It's
look
not the
who's
guest spirit
there.
that Matteo was hoping for, but uh,
Let's make some noise for Tommy.
guys,
Woo! How are you,
Tommy,
man?
the studio looks good. Did you change it up a bit?
a little bit. Yeah, I added a shelf for um my Macross stuff. I put some
Yeah.
Macross stuff out here.
And all the warplanes on the wall are new,
Those
right?
those were there. Maybe I just cleaned them.
But
Um,
also you're like, are you at your computer desk? Did you move your computer desk?
oh, I did. I moved. So you know how on one side of the studio I had actually I might be able to. eh,
Let's see.
I
No.
might be able to change my camera.
So
Um, Maybe. Oh no, I only have one camera set up right now. Sorry.
oh, that's okay. I'm just
But over on that
recognizing.
side, I have like my um where I have my computer desk and the table that I normally would like paint on, kind of
Right,
this way, and then
right.
my ink table is like here.
I remember this.
And but what I did was I switched a bunch of stuff around because I found that when I was working on Jupiter's Legacy, that was all digital and I was sitting like all the time. And normally I'd be working on lots of different things and kind of I'd stand some, I'd sit some, I go to like different workstations and
Right.
I was just like sitting there forever and feeling like crap. And so right now where I am is on a standing desk that I just have a stool if I need it. And I've got
Oh,
like right now I'm talking to you guys on my laptop and then I've got a monitor here, and then I've got my Cintiq over here.
okay.
So,
Do you
I'm
like
gonna be
so
able
you
to
like standing and working? I know a lot of people are switching to standing desks. I don't think I could do it.
yeah, I've always stood when I'm inking.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
I mean, unless I'm like have somebody hovering behind me, like on the movie that we made, the for Ink Pulp.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
No, I mean, I
instruction.
wouldn't like lots of times, especially or when I'm painting, because I like to be able to step back, and
That makes
see
sense.
it and
Okay,
then move back to it, but
Tommy, let's get to the most important thing. So when you watch porn, which monitor, which position are you assuming? The standing one? Or
it depends if I've been sitting a lot that day already or you know
Now,
sometimes.
Tommy, I do have to tell you that if when we do have you come back on again, and if it's just me and Matteo, feel free to say no because this is how it's gonna go. But if Eric's in, you're not gonna get the dumb Sean and Matteo questions like which monitor do you watch porn in?
Well, also if Eric's here, I won't get a word in edgewise because the guy never shuts the hell up.
We have basically
yes,
spent the majority of this show just bashing Eric.
See, now I'm sitting because I'm
yes.
settling in for some shit talking.
You want to
um
be comfortable when you shit talk. So
yeah, so maybe now that I think about it, this is probably the porn position.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right, good to know. Good to know. If you
Yeah.
look at the
And sometimes I have just all 3 monitors going at the same time.
oh wow.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Wow.
Same
Wow.
porn or
No,
different?
well, it depends. Sometimes it's individual 3 different videos.
Oh, okay.
Ever
Okay.
since I got
You're
fiber
like
out
a
here,
porn overlord,
yeah,
controlling all the
You're
porn
like
in the world.
X-Men's mojo of
And,
porn.
and in every and in each screen, there's 15 different porns. So he's watching like 45 different porns at the same
yeah,
time.
it's
This
like
is
porn.
superpower.
Yeah, it's porn blipverts, like from Max Headroom. And I hurt my neck doing that recently. I was like, you know,
You got porn whiplash.
oh shit. I think I really did hurt my neck.
Listen, tell me what you're working on now.
I'm working on actually I'm right now looking at Andrea Cookie's drawings. He's been drawing the book ATMOS Exordium that for the company that I'm at nowadays. The past year I've been working with ATMOS, which is a new startup company that we've been making a comic and a video game and some animation and a whole bunch of stuff. And
Let me ask you, Tommy, how do you prefer the freelance life, or do you prefer, because now you're a salaried employee? Do you have a
yeah,
preference?
I've never been a salary employee ever in my life until this past year. So
And so what do you think?
there are pluses and minuses. Like right now, like us talking right now, I feel like I'm cheating on Atmos. Which I wouldn't have felt like that at all when I was freelance. There's
Well, look, this is shedding some light because Eric is a salary employee. And
Yeah.
he doesn't seem to give a fuck that he's on here with us.
Yeah. Well, also Eric's able to like work while he talks somehow, and I kind of can't. It depends what it is. If I'm inking, I can do it, but right now I'm actually doing lettering indications, taking John Workman's like John Workman he's lettering the book over Andrea's pencils and inks, and I'm doing what I normally do with my own work, which is just indicating based on the script written by Dylan Bushnell, who's also the game designer, like where the lettering, where the balloons go, and lots of times
Right.
a lot of stuff Dylan hasn't thought about sound effects so much.
Oh, really?
So I end up lots of times adding in sound effects, and I think Dylan's a really good writer. The third issue is by far the best one. And what's kind of cool is not only in the story, but also Andrea's artwork. Like everybody's like getting better and better. So it's kind of like that where you're like, so we're going to collect all 3 into one volume and do a physical book.
So right now it's coming out digitally?
Right now, the first 2 issues are out through Comixology, and it's called ATMOS Exordium. And Matteo did a cover for issue 2. Dave Johnson did a cover for issue 1. Peach did a cover for issue 1. And we're gonna kind of. It's funny because I'd never done anything purely for digital before, so I didn't. Yeah. I was thinking, variant cover, but a variant cover doesn't really help you in digital, because.
Oh yeah.
It's like
right.
Yeah, because it's not collectible, basically.
Right.
Well, and it's not like you'd have to have a whole nother like product for sale.
Yeah,
right.
It's got to be a different product, like
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like it can't. So that's where we've always wanted to do the printed version, So we've talked with some publishers about doing it, but also for us, the comic is more about kind of building as a new company and trying to tell a new story, like trying to build our readership and our fan base. And so we're thinking about crowdfunding it actually purely as a way to help build the audience and have direct communication with
I think it's a good idea.
The consumer.
Yeah, definitely.
Look, we have the game. And if you're into games, I mean, pretty much every comic book fan I know at least enjoys video games. They might not be super into it or not, but
and the game's not out yet, or it is out?
What's that?
Is the game available to play yet?
No, so we have. That's the hard thing is like we're like creating things and releasing them as we go, partly as a way to kind of build stuff. So right now, all you can see like those animated shorts I've been directing that are
Yeah.
on YouTube or on our website, and then
I'll put those links in the description of the
awesome.
podcast if you can send those to me. So everyone
Okay.
watching this, if you want to check out the animated shorts, Tommy, you've been directing and art directing those.
Yeah, so those, and I have one glove on today, as you can see. So I learned from my
Are those
mentor.
Tom Ross's gloves or not?
No, but
No,
these
they're
are
not
Tom
lightweight.
Ross brand. He's doing a licensing deal with Copper Tone, I think it's called. Some kind of
Are those compression gloves?
yeah.
Is that for your tendonitis?
It's my arthritis in this thumb.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I wear a brace. That you see me wear that. Sometimes it's fine, sometimes it's really bad. It depends. It depends again on how many monitors I'm utilizing at once and what the position is. So,
And how excited are you? And listen, Tommy. Oh, as you were talking about, coordinating everybody and with the comic book and everything, like it reminded me like a few weeks ago when we saw each other in Seattle, and you showed us all the stuff that you were doing, and you showed me the way you direct, people, and it's great. Like sometimes I wish in comic books, like, to have some people like that as editors. Not that I mean, I've worked with great people, so I don't have big complaints, but that level of editing is fucking amazing. Like, I remember you sending actual PDFs with what to do, what not to do, and the correction you were given to Andrea. They're amazing. That's how a beginner artist learns how to do the shit, because you actually spend time explaining why this and why not the other way. It's great, man.
I've thanks. That's cool because I'm sort of always walking that line as like how do you give direction and but more through like inspiration, but also because certain things like when I'm working with like Andrea, for example, on the comic, I don't ever really like critique his drawing itself, like
Yeah.
his anatomy or the way something is lit or whatever. It's all about storytelling. So
Yeah.
and those things can either be done right or wrong, in my opinion. So
Right.
or they can be done, you can always elevate it, so a lot of
Yeah.
it is because our story is a sci-fi story on another planet and there's all this stuff, but then there's also it's about racing and there's lots of different characters and you have to, so there's like a lot of storytelling challenges.
Yeah.
And I would take his layouts and draw on them and make new panels and all this stuff. And where actually my wife Melissa was like, wow, like if somebody did this to you, you'd like throw a fit, and I think, but I think, well, maybe since Andrea knew and admired my work beforehand, that helps a little. And he's not a completely different mindset, the way his brain works is not too dissimilar. And also, like, but if I was in my 20s and trying to like really, get better, I did have that with like Howard Chaykin and some of these guys that they would sit there with me, and I wish I had more of that,
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I wasn't
Absolutely.
sure until just recently. Andrea wrote me a note and said, "Thank you. You always make my storytelling better." And I would like to take all the credit, but but he's doing a really good job. And as we all know, doing comics, the more you do them, the quicker you get good at it.
Yeah.
And you don't think about it because you're always drawing, and so
Yeah.
you're getting better just by pure practice.
Yeah, absolutely. And also it's the way you do it, you can tell that you dedicated time to it. Not only spend time, but dedicated, meaning that you really care about putting out a product of a certain quality. So you're not just in front of a guy who's just telling you, no, this is too dark, this is too
Right.
red, this is too big, this is too small. Like you actually spend time, and it's like, as you said, like our chicken did with you, like I'm sitting right next to you and I'm gonna tell you stuff and how this works and how this doesn't work, and I'm gonna explain. So I'm gonna spend time, which means that I care about you. So it's different. That's why probably, and also, the age and experience difference. Andreas just started. And by the way, I just want to give a shout out to Andrea Cookie, and hopefully, like a lot of people will see his stuff, because I think it really deserves that. And I was super happy to be the one to create the connection between you and him, because he's super talented, but he's so talented that he can be sometimes all over the place, because he knows how to paint with oil, he knows how to paint with watercolor, he knows how to paint with hate, like Tom Ross. He knows, he constantly he wants to try a lot of different stuff, and,
Right.
and sometimes it could be a little bit all over the place. It could be really nice doing this, but you never know what is his personality. So with
Yeah.
this thing, you force him to be focused on, like, how many issues does he have to, like, 8 issues or something?
9. Yeah, it's 9. Yeah,
So it's great for an artist
a
like
lot.
that to be forced to stay on one thing, on one style, and define things in that direction, and that's it. So I think it's really healthy for him as well. So I'm really happy. I'm really looking forward to see what happens in his career, and for whoever doesn't know his stuff, like
Yeah.
his Il Cooks on, but just look for Andrea Cookie
If you
on his,
want to, Matteo, if you want to,
Cucchi.
if you
yeah.
guys want to give me links to his social media, I can put it in
Yeah.
the description of the podcast so people can check that out. No, all right, never mind.
Yeah,
And
no,
Yeah,
I
no,
think
absolutely. I will.
I feel like lucky that like some of the stuff every once in a while, I mean all the time, but every once in a while I'll actually be like, whoa, like that's really good, and I'll feel really lucky that we snagged him now,
Yeah.
because at a certain point he's
he's gonna be
going
a big
to
chat.
be because I see how hard he's working and stuff. I see like, oh, he's on a trajectory to get better and better.
Yeah.
And I think partly because we've all been on his side of things, or like on the game development, I'm directing like David LaFuente and all these guys who are doing concept art, and they like working with me because um, we're working with each other. They're not working for me,
Yeah.
and they're sort of like, I talk to them and treat them and try and inspire them the way that I wish I had somebody doing whenever I'm in their shoes.
Yeah.
So I think I'm kind of lucky that way, where I get to have a little bit of experience on both sides. And I think that's the kind of thing that what you're talking about, Matteo, is lots of times we work with especially editors that they haven't had um, much experience at all, being either freelance, especially on the art side, on the
Yeah.
visual side, and most of them have a little bit of experience with some writing, or at least wanting to become writers. So
Yeah.
um, I it's harder to, years ago, uh when I started working in comics, Archie Goodwin was still at DC, and
Did
he was one of those guys that he couldn't draw, but he worked with so many amazing artists that he knew how to communicate with
he
artists.
understood the medium really well too?
Yeah. Do
And,
you think
and,
that Sean, when you were teaching at SCAD, stuff like that, like,
Did I what?
because you were, when like teaching the students, because so much of the time we're on that side of it still, like on their side of it, always, learning from each other, learning from mentors, stuff like that. It does help you. I think, it's good to, and makes it easier for us to have empathy with them and sort of,
Yeah,
you
yeah. I
know,
mean, teaching
give them
for
what they
me,
need.
was always very natural. I mean, I think I think both you guys are the same way. We're like, we're very curious artists when we work. We're learning and trying to understand, and it's opening up doors of what we want to explore and understand later. And
Yeah,
and
not
and
only that, by teaching, I realized that since I have to explain
yeah,
stuff that I do
exactly.
to other people, I learn more about my own process.
Yes.
So in the 3 years that I teach, I learn a lot.
Yeah.
So it's,
And yeah, I learned a ton teaching, and also whatever you present has to be put to test. Like, you present an idea to the students, like we're talking about line weights today. Here's my theory on line weights. And you present it to them. Their job is to challenge that idea. So you then have to challenge it yourself. And all of
be
these
prepared. Yeah.
concepts and like rules you live by need to be put through the ringer to see how strong they'll hold up.
Yeah. Yeah.
For
Yeah,
sure.
there's also like they have to meet you there too, you know, like there's a certain kind of willingness and eagerness that they need to have.
That's
And that's
very
what
true.
whenever I'm like, if I'm working on an animated thing or anything where I get to choose like some of the crew, you know, like
Mhm.
it's always like finding those people who don't have who have an ego as far as like wanting it to be awesome, but
Right.
it's not about like it's about the project.
Right.
It's about being like your willingness to you know, kind of go there and let your barriers go down and be willing to take direction and be willing to to ask questions and to be inquisitive about how can I do a better job, you know, like I'm gonna have you draw this certain thing, well, and then some artists will be like, okay, that's cool, whatever, and their desire to know more about it ends at that, where others will go, you know, can you send me any more ideas, like,
Right.
you know, like what's the story behind this thing, or where did these
Yeah.
people come from, or and then all of a sudden then it makes me think of things
Yeah.
like, oh, that's a good question, and then that's like exactly so, like La Fuente, for example, we're designing like these you know the those exosuits like you drew on the cover, Matteo,
Yeah.
like I'm wanting to take those a bit further and have a little bit more of a uniqueness to this stuff, and so we figure out, you know, what were they for, how are they manufactured, you know, all these things that David wants to know. And sometimes, you know, you spend all this time, like I put together a whole style guide of the evolution of those suits, like here they were 100 years ago, here they are,
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
and then some artists won't even make the time to read that stuff.
Yeah.
And so those are the
Mm.
guys that I don't hire again, you know.
Right.
So
Right. Totally.
well, that's the thing, is you kind of want to be all in, you know, like what's the story there with this, because then you all know like what it's supposed to feel like, and the acting of the characters, especially in the narrative side, like with the comic, like would they make this face, would they have that kind of body language, would they, you know, so the more you know about every aspect of it, so the more I know, so I have to know everything about the stuff as much as possible, and then try and now we're working with a studio in Brazil that's doing a lot of the engineering and stuff in the game, and I have to like communicate, like take all these things and take it down into one tiny little like elevator pitch of you know, this is
Yeah.
what this is
Right.
what it is, this is the prime objective, and then
It's a good thing.
communicate that to them.
It's a good thing you speak Italian, as we learned in Seattle.
Yes, and Portuguese.
And Portuguese.
Certo, certo.
Certo.
I tried to impress. I was on a call last week with Andrea and Jada.
Yeah.
What's Jada's surname? I don't remember.
Giada,
She's the colorist
Marchisio.
now in the book. What's that? Sorry,
Marchisio.
Marquise.
Marchisio, right?
Yeah, I was talking with them on we use Slack for work, which is
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
chat file sharing thing.
Yeah.
And I was talking with them on a huddle. We call it a huddle. I call it a cuddle. But then an HR called me and they said you can't do cuddles. So that's the downside of being a company guy now.
There's the corporate shit.
Yeah. So
Tommy, we're
So-
gonna have to ask you to refrain from using the word cuddle when
But now I
referring
just
to.
say in parentheses huddle. So,
It's good.
but
You
I
didn't
was
say
talking with
cuddle.
them, and Andrea was explaining something, and I was like, "Ciao."
Certo.
But I was saying it all wrong. I was saying "ciao."
Well, it's it's a weird R that you pronounce. It would be like
Ciao.
certo,
You say it.
certo. You
Char-
gotta roll the R a little bit.
Charto.
Certo.
Certo.
I basically do CHAUTO.
Yes,
yeah.
we know from your video. Although
Well,
you pronounce the
Certo.
R in Il Farto pretty
but
You know, and Andrea's like, what?
no, but if you do it in a really nonchalant way, the way you were doing where we were filming you,
Ciao.
you're like certo.
Certo.
You don't need the rolling R. You can,
It
slip
only
in.
works if I have my phone. Ciao.
Yeah, it works.
You did it.
Yeah.
Ciao. Haha, see El Farto.
I love Tommy's Italian.
And by the way, going back to the editors, it's fun because we were talking before you got in with Sean about the fact that this last weekend I was in Barcelona for a show.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of there was Rick Remender there and
cool.
other people that have done books with them. And the last day of the show, we all met up at the hotel bar, and we had drinks together for a few hours. So we got the chance to actually, talk and not just be together at the table just signing. And at a certain point, the conversation went on the editors and the fact that the way it should be is that the most, you're a writer, you become a good writer, you're a professional, and then on the final phase of your career, you become an editor, so you help out the new writers. Instead, now it's the other way around. You become an editor in order to become a writer,
Right.
which is like weird.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be already a good writer before becoming an editor, So it's a weird thing,
I wonder if that is. I wonder how much of that is just maybe the talent pool is so shallow, like maybe there's not like if you're at DC Comics or whatever and you're like looking for editors and you have tons of young people wanting to be editors, and it's probably kind of hard to find but I wouldn't think it would be because I mean there are lots
I don't I think the problem it's a management issue. You don't have anyone at the top teaching those below them how things are done. Like used to be, like you said, you had Archie Goodwin at Marvel and you had Joe Kubert. Wasn't he? Did he do DC or Marvel? I think he was at DC for a while, art directing. And you had these these masters of craft and medium that their job was to teach the editorial staff how this all works, but also they each had their own books. Like Archie Goodwin had an anthology. What was that Marvel anthology? But where they just hired new talent.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And Archie would edit them to teach them how to do this better. And then they would graduate onto other books. Like, okay, I've been through the training camp. Now I'm in the major leagues, but that's gone. And so there's no one like I would love to just have an editor, like all these editors and all these hot writers, like here, thumbnail of a comic book. It'll be a fucking disaster.
It's possible that the editors also, who knows what their pay scale is and stuff too. They
don't get paid well at all.
Yeah,
I mean, especially the lower tier editors. It's near impossible to live in New York and be an editor.
Yeah, so I feel like that's probably a big hurdle for
true.
them.
But the same could be said for what they pay us. They pay us shit.
Yeah, but we make more than an editor, I think.
Probably, yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe so.
But
maybe so.
I don't know. I don't know to answer that question. But all I know is that I'm a kind of envious of when I hear you guys talk about the past every time I hear somebody talk about the past, I hear about, you know, memories of working together with other people in a studio.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially, I don't know, for you, Tommy, I hear you talking about, you know, JP and rest in peace. And, you
And like,
know,
yeah, and even like having like Howard, and look, when I lived in LA, it was like a physical studio with Howard and Mike Vosberg and Steve Mitchell and Sean McManus and Don Cameron and like a whole bunch of us, and most of us, because we lived in uh, LA, and a lot of us, we had a studio in Burbank and a studio in Montrose, but it was always and near all the animation studios, so everybody kind of dabbled in a little bit of everything. And Howard at the time was doing more TV stuff at the time, writing TV stuff and kind of starting to get back in. He had just done this book at, remember Malibu Comics? He did a book called Power and Glory. And
Yeah,
then
I remember that book.
First Comics or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
History, Midnight Men, and
Uh-huh.
a bunch of this stuff kind of in the early to mid 90s, and then was doing some TV and movie stuff again. And but everybody kind of did a little bit of everything, and I think that was a good experience for me to be around, you know, and be in that town. But then yeah, but it's kind of like what the three of us have now with you know, Eric and a bunch of the guys, you know, and being able to go and, you know, with you know, Ramon and you know, Mindy and everybody, Essential Sequential, you know, we get
It's a nice crew.
once in a while.
yeah, but we just, you know, we see each other at shows, and then of course everybody leaves, you know, all spread around. So it's really hard to actually see each other on a, you know, almost daily basis.
Well,
But yeah, my thing is that in general, I think that the whole structure of how our work is structured has changed a lot. And this editor thing probably comes somehow, you know, at a certain point from that. I don't know where,
that
or,
could be.
you know, why. It would be cool to think about it and try to find out. But
I had realized that there was a difference throughout time of younger editors don't foster as much communication between the different people on the team.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I used to talk to, I mean, like if I had an inker or a colorist that wasn't me or Melissa, you know, like I would always be on the phone with them, talking with them. Same with, you know, John Workman and I talk all the time every day, and less and less, you know, I mean, I would not. Sometimes you'd have an editor. There was a guy at DC, Mike McAvinney was his name, who really wanted to choose the team and everything for me, and didn't want me to really kind of like just do my thing. And so I quit, you know. So that was, you know, he was just kind of, you know, yeah, that was tough. But but so yeah, because I like that. I like being able to, you know, because and if there is I'm not saying I don't respect them, but sometimes I don't. Some of the, you know, I do as people, obviously, but as far as their opinion on, you know, there are a couple of editors.
You're gonna respect their opinion on specific stuff. Yeah.
You know,
I
they're
understand.
gonna tell me like how to do my job, you know, like
right.
Well, especially when you see somebody who's clearly has way less experience than you,
exactly.
You're like, you know.
Exactly.
But yeah, in general, I think that the whole job of editor has changed in general. Like I see it more as a coordinator than an actual, you know, somebody who has an actual input on the project.
Like a production manager.
Yeah, it's like, okay, if you want something, just let me know and I'll talk to the guy who can solve the problem for you. If you know, it's new pages, okay, give me the new pages. I'm gonna show it to this other guy who will let me know. When he lets me know, I'm gonna report you what that guy said to you about your stuff. You know, it's more, you know. So that's why probably it's the whole figure of editor is
and I think sometimes for certain people that could work great. You know, I mean, especially when it is a younger, less experienced editor. I don't want to hear from them on creative stuff anyway.
Sure.
So
probably it's part.
But they should be learning.
Yeah. Or at least like maybe they ask you, like what,
Mhm.
why, what, like, hey, I'm curious about this. Why did you think
Right,
for
right,
this
right,
choice,
right.
Yeah, but I
you
mean,
know,
there's a risk there, meaning that okay, so now you're supposed to be facilitating my job, and instead I got to spend more time by telling you
Right,
stuff.
that's fair. That's a
You
fair
know?
point. That's a fair
So
point.
it's
yeah,
hard. It's hard.
yeah.
All right, guys, I got it. So I'm sitting here watching the timer, and we're an hour and 15, and what I'm hearing is Eric on my shoulder saying, "I knew you guys would fuck it up." So I gotta end it here before we give Eric more
Yeah,
ammunition.
and by the way, one last thing. Like I was worried that we would run out of subjects. So I was like, oh, can we make it to an hour? And now it's an hour 15, which means that basically Eric is useless
Yeah,
to the
pretty
show.
much, pretty much.
What
But
is the issue here? Is Eric think it goes too long?
no, no,
Yeah,
no, no. Eric ends the show
at 1
properly
hour.
at around an hour, and everyone seems to enjoy the fact that it's pretty much an hour every time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
I think that's cool.
he's not here, so he's waiting
So
for us
every
to fuck
rule is
up.
out the window when he's not here.
Right, right. It's like I was
And
saying
I
at the
was,
beginning,
to
the
be
parents
fair, I
are.
was unaware of these rules.
But hey, it's not. No, it's not your job
Oh
to
no,
know.
it's not your fault at all.
It's our job
I'm
to.
not saying it is. I'm saying that Eric needs to back off.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's right, Eric.
Fuck you, Eric. Fuck you.
All right, so we've brought up Tom Ross a couple times, so the audience is wondering what that is. We're going to get into that another time. Tommy's going to come
Yeah.
back. We're going to do a full-fledged episode with Tommy, and Tom Ross may join us if things go well, and you all can
I
learn.
think it depends on if they'll let him out or not. He's
Is he locked in Art Mountain?
he's locked in
should.
like the mental health wing of
Oh, they got him. They got him. Okay, but that in his mind, he's in Art Mountain.
yeah.
Okay,
He's still working every day. But yeah, he's
Still
people
watching
may not
movies.
know Tom Ross, but he's sort of like I mean, according to him, Bob Ross stole his surname, and there's a big feud that's been going on for a long time, which Tom considers himself to be the winner because Bob is no longer with us.
I think we're gonna have to definitely have this conversation with Mr. Tom Ross. This sounds great. This is gonna be good.
Actually,
stuff.
I think Tom Ross may have interviewed Eric.
He did.
He
Interviewed me, Eric, and the funniest part of that was when he was interviewing Chaikin, and Chaikin just wasn't having it at all. That's something funny. Did you ever release that footage on anything?
Not that footage, no.
Oh man, Tommy.
So, yeah, so there's some archival footage that we'll have to go through.
If you can dig up that footage, we could put clips on during the podcast.
We'll use this channel to spread the word.
Absolutely. All right, so let me get the little outro going. Tommy, thanks for coming in. I'm gonna play the outro and then we'll say goodbye, and then I'll end it after that. So bear with me as the outro runs. This is the INKPULP podcast. This is the INKPULP podcast. Comics, hip hop, life. Nobody gets it. There it is. Tommy's dancing. All right, Tommy, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks,
and Matteo, we killed it. We don't need Eric anymore. I'm going to end the recording.
It's
guys,
great to see you guys.
Hang out for a second, Tommy. I'm going to end this and then we'll go. Thanks for watching the INKPULP podcast.
Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.